Brought to you by ExpressCare Health and Skin Center. Get in, get out, get better.
Welcome back to Healthy Living. What is tuberculosis and how is it spread? Joining me now with more on this topic is ExpressCare's Dr. Jitka Lom.
Hi, Jolene.
Hello. Okay, so share with us, what is tuberculosis?
The short name for tuberculosis is TB, and this is a disease that's a bacterial illness that is spread from person to person. It typically will affect people's lungs and cause a bad pneumonia, really, coughing up blood, losing weight, high fevers. But it can also settle in other parts of the body, for example, in the bones, in all over. And actually, it is worldwide one of the top killers of humans in the developing world. So that's what TB is. And how is it spread from person to person? When somebody is active and they have an active disease in their lungs, they're coughing up the bacteria, and it goes in the air, and someone else will inhale it, and it will go into their lungs. That's how it spreads.
Okay, now TB was a hot topic, as you know, with the whole DOC TB alert. Now, because it's a confined space, I understand that you have to be confined for so many hours in order to contract it.
Mm-hmm. Typically, you have to be in close contact with somebody who has TB or active TB. Okay, they're coughing in order to catch it. However, TB, when it's endemic, meaning that there's tons of it in the population, you may not have to be in such a close confined area. So in a prison population, it can be that lots of people have the TB, lots of people are coughing it up, or in an island population. So for example, you just mentioned the prison. That's a typical population for TB, even on the mainland, even in other countries. And then developing countries, and in our area here we have our surrounding Micronesian islands, for example on Chuuk and so on. In these islands, the rate of TB is about 100 times what it is on Guam. So just by walking around in that small island, you're very likely to catch TB. You don't have to be very close to the person who is coughing.
All right. Now, what are the signs and symptoms of a person who has TB?
Right. So here's where it gets a little tricky, because there are people who are infected but are not sick. And that's why we do the TB testing. We'll probably talk about that more later. Mm-hmm. But if somebody has active TB, that means they're infected and they're also sick. They're coughing, they may be having high fevers, especially in the afternoon or evenings. They're losing weight, they feel extremely tired, they may be coughing up blood, and they may also be having sweats, especially at nighttime. And these are the signs of a chronic, long-term illness, which TB usually is. People get infected at some point, and they often don't get sick for many months and sometimes even years later.
Okay. Now, you know, we mentioned the TB skin test.
Right.
So can you share with us what that is?
What is that? Okay. So the PPD is a purified protein of the TB bacterium, meaning it's not the actual live bacteria. It's just like a shell of that antigen. So we put a little tiny bit of that into your skin. Now, the way the immune system works is, if your body has seen the TB bacteria before, then it has produced antibodies, meaning soldiers, to fight that bacteria. Now the soldiers see the shell of that bacterium. They go, wow, there's something there, I need to go and kill it. And then there's a red spot, because the immune system is acting on that little pinprick that you got. So if we see a red mark there, especially when it's irritated and kind of raised and hard feeling, sometimes it can get really big, then we know that your immune system is active against the TB. That means your body's seen it. If there's no reaction, then your body's never seen that bacterium before, or else you're really, really very sick. Like somebody with HIV or severe end-stage cancer or something, they may not have any reaction because they have no immune system.
Okay. So what does it mean if you test positive for the skin test? Because I understand at times you can be positive for the skin test, but then when you get a chest x-ray done, you're given the all clear.
Right, and that is where all the confusion comes from. So let's say you're exposed to somebody who has active TB, they're coughing up the bacteria, and you inhale that. Now the bacteria is in you. You are infected with it, but not sick. You feel fine. You have no cough. Everything's fine. But they do your tests, and your body has seen the TB. The immune system has prepared some soldiers to fight it. We call those antibodies. Now you're positive. And you get a chest x-ray, and your chest x-ray is normal. So that's great, because you're healthy and you're not sick, because your immune is strong and it's containing the bacteria. So let's say, though, over time you start to get weak, or the bacteria starts to get strong. How would you get weak? Let's say you get older. Let's say you have diabetes. Let's say you develop any other disease, cancer, some other sickness, you have a surgery, whatever, where your immune system goes down and it's not able to control that TB bacteria because it's waiting. It's in your system waiting to make you sick. So if you take 100 people with a positive TB skin test, over time 40 of them will develop active TB, meaning they'll start coughing up the blood and the bacteria make other people sick. 60 of them will be fine and go through their life and never have active TB because their immune system's strong. But this is take. So if you're positive, your TB test is positive, public health will give you, and you're under a certain age and you're otherwise healthy, then public health will give you free medication to kill that bacteria inside so that over time you don't get sick. So it's like killing the sleeper before the sleeper wakes up and hurts you. That's what it is.
Okay. Well, stay tuned. More healthy living when we return.